hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
This is For the Record.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Honored to sit in this seat on behalf of Mr. Art Connor and to be joined always by Dr. Steve McField. And as we continue the discussion, thank you for sharing. I'm just reminded that, we're ready now to say happy birthday as OC always does, brought to you by, Coca-Cola. We have Laurel Hides and Nikita Jackson celebrating. And birthdays are important.
Oh, yes.
Every day that you get up and face a new day, our parents tell us, and the day above ground is a good day. We're making something happen. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're losing that gumption, that sense of exploration, adventure, but also that sense of accomplishment.
Yes. We're losing it's a sense of community pride. I remember many years ago on the campaign trail with Mr. Truman Borden. And I used to work for his campaign committee, and we were on the campaign trail, and he was saying one time that I can't remember exactly what the phrase that he used, but he says if the family is happy, then the community is happy, and if a community is happy, then the whole country is happy.
Yeah. That individual doing it to the collective one today.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We've lost that. We've lost that community spirit. And the most important thing that I think that we've lost the pride that we had, mm-hmm. and the confidence that people had in us. What we did it well. It wasn't banking. It wasn't accounting. It wasn't it wasn't doctoring. you know what I mean? But what we did it well. We built good houses, and all you have to do is go around the country and you see the ironwood homes that we built. Yeah. The worst hurricanes haven't moved them. Yeah. We worked well. We were captains and engineers, and we did that well. We were sought at.
Yeah. We took pride in
what we did.
Yeah. And as you referenced the construction, Dr. Steve, if I might, yes, those are in wood houses, you know, the wooden, whether they survive in all the storms up to and including Ivan, for instance. But if you will look at the construction prior to that, when concrete, the blocks and that building method came in, so we moved from the wood to concrete, even those houses built then stood up better than some of the newer construction, you know, following in the recent years. I take, for instance, some of the houses that were built, you know, close to, you know, Ivanish. They didn't fare as well.
They failed.
Many of the houses built prior.
Many of those apartments failed.
Yeah.
In some of the richest districts.
Yeah.
And like, so what we did it with not according to how much it was worth.
Integrity was
we
it?
did it with integrity, with pride. I did this and this, therefore it stands on my recommendation, and what I'm doing here is one of the best things that I could ever done. That is how it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just for the money.
Yeah.
It was pride and the joy of working and the pleasure of having a job.
Yeah. But your name, your reputation,
and everything meant something. Yes.
Yeah.
And like when I go to some of those old buildings and I look up and I see the mahogany work that they did and how they built them, and so forth. And then today, we're not even considered to be construction workers anymore. We're not even considered to be. We cannot even carry the water in the wood. What's it called? What they call that again? Hewers of wood and drawers of water.
Yeah.
They don't even use us for that anymore now.
But is that because we've done that to ourselves?
Yes, right. That's right.
I'm glad you referenced that. And this is where hopefully when we have these opportunities to speak, you know, and listen to people who have an experience and an expertise, we might be able to reflect. Legislation, I'm told, for instance, over the years, as we introduced it, could have been used to displace us. So that young fellow, weekends, summers, and by that I mean male and female. So, you know, I've seen many in the past working just because of opportunity, was able to get a job on a construction site, for instance. Now, presumably that's an excuse to displace the young Caymanian from, you know, entering that sort of trade, that workplace. But yet, by the same token and the same breath, we give that opportunity to others.
Well, sure, because the people who are let me be. I'm trying to choose my words really carefully.
Yes, sir.
The people who are now are singing the song, who are who they say they playing the music. Who are some of the narratives are the financiers and developers who have found a place where they can make a lot of money quickly. So to they have a bottom line. And you know, when you are investing in anything, most of your investment goes to the labor, in which you have to from which your income comes, and the cheaper you can get things done, like that's one reason why the manufacturing society in America sort of fell, because when they found that they could send the goods to be manufactured in China, in South Vietnam, and all of those places in Asia,
labor costs
were 50 cents an hour instead of $1 and all the stuff. And what happened now is that those people control the manufacturing, like in our control, has been able to come out of the poverty situation less than one generation, challenge them. So what happens? So they found a place called Cayman Islands, and then what they did, they started dehumanizing. If you want to control people, the first thing you do is start dehumanizing. You have to identify in them. You have to less than. You have to say things. Say they're not worth it. They can't stand pressure. All of these things. That leads you then to be able to bring other people into the fold, pay them less money, and you feel comfortable with it. You feel comfortable with what you've done. You think that's an accomplishment. You accomplished it now. So instead of paying the Caymanian dollars, $12 an hour, $10 an hour, you bring people and you pay them $4.50 an hour and $6 an hour. And then now your bottom line now is really to the at the rock bottom, because you're getting your services done, you're getting all the things done, you're getting your wealth done, and you're not paying anything for it. Yeah. And that's the problem that we face now in the country. And then you sit every day, you sit every week, every month, and every year, and you wonder who is going to come to change this to bring it back in some sort of equilibrium that you will have a chance. And as the days and the months go by and the weeks go by and the years go by, you don't see anyone.
What would it take to bring that equilibrium? What would it take to make that, are you talking about, that change?
People of integrity, people who put Caymanian first, people who you have to almost become an old nationalist. You have to start educating your people too. You have to give them good technical, strong education, because the world has moved on from some of the things I'm talking about. And so you have to be able to compete internationally with other people. You can't compete internationally when 75% of your children are failing and have failed their schools, their basic education. That is something that that is one of the most important things for growth in the future. When your children, when your people are failing, 75% failing against other people who are 85 and 9% not failing, but are passing, gaining, and you already don't have a chance to catch up.
Right. I want, if you would allow us, when we come back, to talk about that, because those are the things that we need to address. Our news is now ready. We're going to pause and take that news break, and in a few minutes, with our listeners, so maybe get some tea like I just did. It came on Thanksgiving. I just enjoying it.
Yes.
When we come back, we'll talk more. Thanks for the company, sir, and to our listeners, please stay tuned.
Thank you, Sterling. And studio time by Foster's is 3 minutes past 8.
All right, class, pay attention. School is back in session, and it's time to get back to school ready with Foster's.
Foster's is embracing the school spirit with all the essentials like backpacks, stationery, lunch kits, and more.
And online, treat yourself to our blog at livewell.fosters.ky to help kids navigate back to school anxiety and start the school year with confidence.
And any parents hoping to spend more time at home, there's always fresh delivery from Foster's Go.
Think you got all that? We'll test you on it later.
Get ready for a great fresh start with Foster's.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With a look at Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news, I'm Dion Anglin. Cayman cultural icon and celebrated calypsonian Dave Martins has passed away. The former chairman of the Cayman National Cultural Foundation was 90 years old. Although the exact cause of his death remains unknown, reports suggest that he had been dealing with dementia in recent years. Martins left a lasting impact around the Caribbean and his home country in Guyana. Back in 1966, Martins founded the Tradewinds Band, which became highly respected in the Caribbean. Just 6 months after its formation, Martins wrote the band's first hit, Honeymooning Couple, and regarded in many circles as Guyana's unofficial national anthem, Not a Blade of Grass remains evergreen across generations. The Tradewinds Band played a crucial role in introducing calypso music to Canadian radio at a time when Caribbean music was rarely heard on the airwaves. Annette Martins, Dave's wife, expressed her gratitude on social media, reflecting on their 15 years of unwavering love, support, and shared passion for all things Guyanese. In other local news, as we observe World Mosquito Day tomorrow, the Mosquito Research and Control Unit, or MRCU, highlights the relentless efforts that have gone into keeping mosquito numbers low this year, ensuring the safety and comfort of the Cayman Islands residents and visitors. The director of MRCU, Dr. Alan Wheeler, said mosquito control is a science-driven process that requires constant vigilance and adaptive strategies. He said his team works tirelessly behind the scenes, collecting and analyzing larvae from communities, swamps and dikes, and carrying out property inspections. Dr. Wheeler said daily they count and identify mosquitoes from traps, and their morning meetings are essential for planning the day's mission based on the latest data and community feedback. Dr. Wheeler said one key aspect of MRCU's work is the absence of a fixed spray schedule. He said everything they do is data-driven. They base their actions on real-time observations and analysis to ensure the most effective and efficient mosquito control measures. This approach, he said, allows them to target problem areas precisely when and where interventions are needed. The Cayman Islands are home to about 20 different types of mosquitoes. While some prefer birds or other animals, others, like the Aedes aegypti mosquito, pose a risk to human health. Dr. Wheeler said the Aedes aegypti is particularly concerning because it's a day-biting mosquito that breeds in people's yards. He said this mosquito is the primary vector for serious diseases such as dengue, Zika, and yellow fever. With dengue cases rising in the region, Dr. Wheeler said their disease prevention officers have been proactively visiting homes and dumping water out of any container that might serve as a breeding ground. And day one of the Max 60 Caribbean League kicked off on the weekend at the iconic Jimmy Powell Oval in West Bay. Cayman cricket is buzzing with excitement as it's currently hosting the star-studded event featuring cricket icons from around the globe. With over 500 spectators on opening day on Sunday, today fans can expect another 3 games of T10 cricket action. However, like the start of any event, there are sometimes a few hiccups. Cox has a message about seating and parking.
Yeah, from what I've seen, there were a couple of problems in terms of parking, but we need to get that resolved because I think there was some parking on some private property, and the parking is supposed to be at the Ed Bush parking area. We enter from the Ed Bush entrance and not the Dill Lane entrance. In terms of the seating, there are a couple of bleachers that have been set aside for persons who want to sit. I think those tickets are $10 each for that particular area. Then there's the beach, what we among the area which have been constructed for persons who can bring their own large umbrellas and sit on those areas. Unfortunately, no coolers are allowed, no external alcoholic beverages are allowed, but we can also use the resources that are here to have a refreshment and to basically enjoy themselves at a great day of cricket.
Cayman Cricket's treasurer, Robert Cox. Gates open at 9 a.m. this morning for a 9:30 a.m. match start. The games are being shown on Flow Sports as well. However, it's $5 for general seating, $10 for the bleachers, and $100 for the VIP area where there are drinks and food served all day. Now for a look at news from around the world, here's the BBC.
The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has met Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv after warning that now may be the last chance to reach a ceasefire deal in Gaza and bring hostages back to Israel. Mr. Blinken said it was time for everyone to accept a deal without excuses. Hezbollah says an Israeli strike in southern Lebanon has killed 2 of its members. The group said it had launched a simultaneous attack using explosive-laden drones on 2 military positions in northern Israel.
And that'll take us out of Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Dress for success and demonstrate school pride by learning and following the National Dress Code Policy and the specific dress code for each government school. Under the National Dress Code Policy, boys' hair must be neatly groomed and of natural color. Uniform shirts must be neatly tucked in, undergarments concealed, sneakers or shoes black, and jewelry limited to a wristwatch. Take pride in your stride today. View the complete dress code policy at www.gov.ky/education. This is a message from the Ministry of Education.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman News.
Arrested a 76-year-old man from Cayman Brac on suspicion of murder.
Police say the senior politician was transported to the hospital.
Daring daylight robbery unfolded at the Diamond International Store.
I'm struggling to see how we have spent more than double what we budgeted.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 87 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure, 29.94 inches and rising. The wind is east at 7 knots. Overnight low temperature was 81 degrees. Synopsis indicate a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean will support light winds and slight seas across the Cayman area during the next few days. A tropical wave passing to the south of the Cayman area may contribute to isolated showers and possible thunder across the islands today. Radar images show isolated showers mainly passing to the south of Grand Cayman and moving towards the west. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida continues to issue advisories on Hurricane Ernesto. Further information can be found at www.nhc.noaa.gov. This storm poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures will rise to the low 90s today and fall to the low 80s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:51, low tide this afternoon at 4 minutes after 3, and a high tide again tonight at 9:31. The sun will set this evening at 6:49 and will rise tomorrow morning at 8 minutes after 6. And the outlook is calling for partly cloudy conditions with light winds and slight seas through Wednesday morning.
Edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
A dental checkup allows your dentist to identify any issues and maintain your oral health. Early treatment or prevention for problems is crucial, as untreated issues can become harder to manage later. Children should develop good oral health habits early to prevent tooth decay, which occurs when sugars from food and drinks interact with plaque bacteria, producing acid that causes cavities. Signs of tooth decay in children include yellow, brown, or black marks on their teeth and complaints of pain, especially when eating or drinking.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
There can only be one. Get ready for the thrilling finale of the 2024 Siwa National Tour. The fourth and final race kicks off at 11:30 a.m. Sunday, August 25th at Collier's Public Beach in East End. Watch division leaders Nathan McLean, Joshua Watler, Brandon Elliott, and Rennie Ortega battle to claim their season championship. There can only be one leader of the pack. The 2024 Siwa Tour is sponsored by Car City, Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Cayman Islands Fire Service, Pepsi, Fast Signs, J&M Equipment, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, Party Animals, Seabreeze Charters and Jet Ski Rentals, Verdant Isle Farms, Health City, Cayman Islands, National Logistics, Onshore IT, Ministry of Tourism and Ports, Radio Cayman, and Breeze FM. The 2024 Siwa Final, 11:30 a.m. Sunday, August 25th at Collier's Public Beach in East End. Champions are founded upon the seas.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic coming from the east. On Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard, traffic is flowing moderately in both directions. Little steady but flowing traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway. And slow-moving traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Slight delays expected. Heading east on Cool Road, traffic is moving on light to moderate. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive and coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady but flowing traffic. And continuing on to Huldah Avenue. As we look to downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, flowing pretty good. And into Georgetown on Shedden Road, things are looking good as well. And out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. From the West Bay 4-way stop, flowing at a good pace. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moving on moderately. And traffic in both directions. And coming off of the Esteli Tibbix Highway, traffic is steady but flowing. And steady but flowing traffic also on North Sound Road in both directions and heading towards the Industrial Park area. Traffic is moderate. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic. Remember, click it or ticket.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Hi, Corinne. How are you doing, dear?
Hello, Gina. I am not too good. I can't seem to get on top of my health issues.
I'm so sorry to hear this. Have you been to the Light Room? I understand they're getting remarkable results with all sorts of physical and mental issues.
What is the Light Room?
It is a self-healing sanctuary that uses clinically proven multi-bio-energy fields and frequencies, including light and sound, to bring the body, mind, and spirit into balance. You simply go in, lie down, and relax, and your body synchronizes with the frequencies. It charges up the cellular voltage, brings left and right brain into balance. Simply put, it provides the body with the right environment to heal itself. No side effects or contraindication.
It sounds exactly like what I need. Where is it located?
They're located at 38 Pasadora Place. You can book online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL, 938-4325.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets. Ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
The Car City Summer Savings Event just got better.
This Saturday, August 24th, not only do we have great deals on every new car on the lot, but when you purchase a new car, you'll have the chance to spin and win. We'll be giving away free gas for a year, extended warranties, free servicing, and car insurance.
Plus, we'll have banks and insurance providers on site to assist with your new car purchase.
Visit us this Saturday to save and win big, only at the Car City Summer Savings Event.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks very much for joining us, and thanks to Dr. Steve McField for sitting with us. Sir, I'm asking this through you to our listeners, and as you shared, Ms. O.C. has a very, very extensive audience, not just across the Cayman Islands, but globally, and an audience that to and from work, at work, who are in places are listening. Some similar to what we enjoy at Talk Today Midday, but some very different. I think some very astute, involved, informed, if they would allow me to say, much more mature, much wiser heads. But to have you, as OC has had over the years, sit consistently and share, are we listening? Are we hearing some of the things? I don't want to say the warnings, but the things that you're sharing. Are we listening? Are we taking it on board? And if not, how do we get us to hear us, to respect us, to draw alongside, and to support? Or are we doomed?
Well, just let me put it this way. I remember many years ago when my mom got sick, and we took her to the hospital on a Friday, I think it was, and she was fine, as we thought. And they said, when we get there, it says, we are just going to keep her on the weekend for observation. And, she can come back home Monday and so forth. And then when we asked about how she was doing between Friday and Monday, they said, she won't be able to come home on Monday again. And then we start to, we weren't that worried. We start talking to the doctor, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then, it started to dawn on us that something is wrong here. I mean, either he's not telling us the truth, or he's saving us. He's saving the truth from us, because of X. And then the next few days, he told us, I think you guys ought to take your mom back home, because there's nothing we can do, because she seemed to have given up. She's not fighting, and in other words, she doesn't want the doctor to save her. She thought that her time had come, and she was not fighting to stay alive like you and I would do when we get in hospital. We want to get out of here. And the doctor had said, I have to tell you, I have to be truthful with you, and say she doesn't really care anymore about carrying on, so to speak. So the best thing to do is to take her back home where she'll be comfortable in the decline. That reminds me of what happened to our people. We are in a decline now, that we are in such a spiraling downfall now that we really don't actually care about anything. And then there are no ones to inspire us to come out of that morass. It seems to me that we have come, and a lot of us have passed the breaking point where they have broken us actually, and we have just given up and said there's nothing we can do. We don't even protest anymore orally. Mm-hmm. We don't even protest orally anymore like we did one time, because we know that the odds are against us. And people, for instance, don't go looking for jobs anymore because they say they won't be hired. And if they're hired on a job, they won't last very long because people become unhappy with them. And so they know that all of these buyers are in front of them and they're not willing to pay the price. They're not willing to make the sacrifice to overcome those barriers. They already climb one or two hills and they're not climbing anymore. And that is what has happened to our society. And so it's here for the taking. Anyone can come in and do well here as long as they're not from here. They have all the advantages, and they have all the support from the people who should be supporting us. Those people are giving them the support, and the people see that now, and they know that, and the people have passed the breaking point where they just have given up now, and mostly it's only old talk and whispering around the corner and so forth. They don't want to come out into the light so that people can see what they're saying and they can have an impact. They're just like how we started when the politics became a narrative that people were holding meetings more. Because I remember one time there were no meetings when politics. In the old days when they would tie the cow up by the bars, and when the men were the ones voting, the men didn't have the vote those days, and the merchant class would tie the cow up by a bar where the men congregate, and they would say, if you vote for me, you can butcher, but if you don't vote for me, the cow goes back in the grass piece. Those were the old days. And then politics, people like Ormond Panton and all of those men in the 1960s started to bring politics out into the light and start having to have political meetings and stuff. And then people would not want to be seen sitting, listening to a politician or so they would stay in the shadows of the buildings, or they would get in there, sit in their cars, and when the politician make a remark that they agree with, they would honk their horns to agree, but they would not come and sit and listen, like how you and I would go to a meeting and sit and listen and to see how the speaker delivers the message, the body language. Whether the message was false or you thought the message was genuine, and where you could walk away and try to make up your mind about what you had seen and what you have heard. That doesn't happen. So we have become faceless people now. We have become faceless people, and actually, a lot of people, they don't need us anymore now, because they can bring people from Nepal, Himalaya, Bangladesh, India. They can get people from everywhere in the world now within a few days can replace us, and for little money. And so who's the Caymanian now? Yeah. Who is he? Where is his leadership? Who's standing for him? Who can testify for this man? Like Pilate asked them, who can testify for this man? And we're just like that now. No one's going to testify for us.
In saying that, I'm almost inclined, and just as an analogy, so you guide me if I have it incorrect. But when we talk about being judged by a jury of your peers, today that person in the dock may look at the 12 and it be completely different. You're no longer looking at people that you resemble, that you recognize, that reflects your ethos. But as you share that and we look far afield, sometimes are we failing to look at what we're doing even next door, whether in the Caribbean region or in North America. So we're bringing people, as you said, far, but also near, displacing, disparaging, disrespecting, and diminishing our own. So how do we get, if that is happening, if it's been almost entrenched, is it a consciousness to displace our own?
Yeah, it's a lack of belief in self. It's a lack of self-belief. It's a lack of pride and that we once had. Like I said when we started the show this morning.
Yes, sir.
You can't build a society on the backs of and the beliefs of other people. You have to build a society on your own strength and your own beliefs. Because what will happen to you, and you've seen it historically all through your life when you read about it. People, when they come, there are different ways to conquer. They bring their own culture, their own food, their own dress, their own language, their own styles, their own way of marriage, their own everything.
Their music,
their
words,
everything.
Yeah.
And when they see that you are weak, that dominates, and then they become not necessarily the majority culture, but they become the dominating culture.
They exert such an influence that okay.
And then you have an alternative. You have an alternative. Either you agree with them, and you become absorbed into their belief in their culture, or you just walk away, and you pine away, or you fight to preserve your own culture.
Yeah.
And that is what happens when you see people in different jurisdictions disagree with each other, and so forth. That is what happens. And when people come to a new jurisdiction where they see it's easy, they don't have to fight for anything, but it's given to them. Right away, they believe that they are superior to you.
They feel entitled.
They feel entitled.
Yeah. But yet that's throw back at us.
Yes, and for the same reason that you have to send to get them to come to work for you, not as your servants, but as your masters, to do the things that we say we can't do ourselves.
Right.
And we are not put in any institution to learn to do that.
We take them with actually the ones that exist.
Exactly.
Yeah. When we come back, can we perhaps look at that in light of what is transpiring in the UK? I think it's the Home Secretary who's making some comments about extremism and the like. Maybe we'll chat about that so that people see it's not just here.
Yes.
It's actually a global issue, but let's take it from our lead country. All right, when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Dr. Steve. Stay tuned.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Get your child ready for the new school year with Total Health in Grand Pavilion. Total Health's comprehensive back-to-school checkups include ENT, eye, and dental pediatric exams. Ensure your child's health with a complete health report card before school begins. Contact Total Health today at 333-2222 or visit totalhealth.ky to schedule your child's back-to-school checkup. Total Health, where wellness meets education, because every child deserves a healthy start.
This is Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, and as the representative for West Bay Central and the Ministry for Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, I am concerned that our islands are at a high risk of loss and damage to seagrass beds. Stronger storms, warmer sea temperatures, and sea level rise can destroy seagrass beds. Culturally and economically important animals like green sea turtles and conch need seagrass to survive. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
This is For the Record.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Dr. Steve McField for sitting with us. And I think as you give us a lesson on things that have been transpiring throughout history, maybe it would behoove us to look at it in the context of today. I was asking prior to the break about some of the things in the UK now, but I'm told we got a couple of calls. We're going to take the WhatsApp call first. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Mr. Sterling. How are you, sir?
Excellent. How are you today, sir?
Doctor.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm just sitting here listening to you and wishing that you was 50 years of age.
Okay.
With what you have nothing to do with your age now, sir, because it's very good to know that you're very good health at your age. But I think if you were 50 years of age now, you would be, we would have a king in Cayman right now. But Doctor, just now you was talking about Cayman in the earlier years. When we used to go to sea, I remember, like you said about the Caymanians had their own home. Now we're not going to get our own homes. We would go to sea and we would say this allotment is for the blocks. We're gonna get the blocks out of this allotment this month. We put the blocks down. Then we would buy the sand with the next allotment, and we went like that, and we got our little home. Timely, we didn't go to the bank, and each other used to help one another build their homes when we came home and stuff like that. But Doctor, you know, the island has changed so much that the Caymanians can't get their own homes now. I mean, I know several of them would like to help each other build their homes, but they can't find the funds to buy the material. Everything is gone sky high nowadays. And, you know, like I said, we would say, well, this month, mama or your wife or your sister, whoever was in charge, take this money and buy the blocks and put them down. And years gone by, the longer you put the blocks down, the stronger, you know, they would be. And that's how we built our homes and stuff like that in the years gone by. But we can't get a home today. You can't buy your own piece of land today. It's so expensive. And I'm sorry to say that Cayman ain't coming back to where we were. We talking about the old days, but they were the good days. They were the good days. Mm-hmm. Doctor, you remember when we were growing up there in Mary Street, everybody was love each other, and we shared what we had with each other. And nowadays, nobody don't want to come to visit you. They ain't got no time for each other. You know?
I think as we listen to, we've got to reflect on what was, but ask what is and what could be, and how do we get there?
Yes, how did we get there? How did we get to this stage where we are third and fourth class in our own country? How did we get to that?
Guess in our own country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Doctor, the part where that you just said it, everybody can come in and they can get anything they want in the country. Once they're from once they're foreign land, they can come in India, Philippines, don't care where they're from. They can come in and they get more.
What are we doing?
Chances.
Sir.
You are repeating yourself over and over and over. What are we going to do about that then? We know that. You know that. Your neighbor knows that. Your friend knows that. Your community knows that. Your island knows that. So what are we going to do now to reverse that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too late, sir.
But see, that's back to what Dr. Steve was just saying, right? We've accepted it complete.
Yes.
And maybe it isn't. But in the caller's point, he's pointing far afield instead of looking there, instead of looking what is within and looking at the statistical analysis to appreciate the socio-demographic, Dr. Steve. And I don't think we've seen that, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone too far. It's gone too far. We should have stopped it. And we ain't got nobody to stand up for us like Benson, Ormond Patton, and Jim Borden.
But let's not lose hope.
But we have to stand up individually, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is where Dr. Steve is so inspirational.
Yes.
But thank you for sharing that. And I believe there's another call on the regular line. Let's take that one. Good, excellent company with Dr. Steve McField. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you both doing today?
I'm in a company with Dr. Steve. Doing great.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. Anyways, this is Carrie from the BRAC. The reason I'm calling in is I need you all to understand the situation here with our people versus letting all of these other individuals in, the expatriate community. We're always going to need them here. We just need to accept that. The problem I see, and I have seen it for the last 25 years, a lot of our people do not want to be assertive. They're not as assertive as the people that are coming into this country. And I understand because we grew up in our families, where we were taught to be passive and not to be rude and mean, nasty to people. We were always known for our kindness and friendliness, and that's where our downfall started because a lot came with bad intentions when they felt that was the mindset that we had.
But Ms. Carey, I want you to certainly defend your position and share, but let me then ask you, are we confusing aggression with assertiveness? That passiveness that you talk about in the politeness that we have, maybe it is that, but when we see...
Well, if it was aggression, then we would have seen that our people would have been more properly placed in their community and in their country. They would have made better choices when they went out to the polls to vote. They wouldn't just take face value instead of looking in an individual's background and seeing that they're actually wearing sheep's clothing, but they're the wolf and the pirates, because the pirates never ever left the Caribbean. They just got full suits and Mercedes Benzes and then came and oppressed everybody else because of that, because we selected the wrong people every election to get into a house to represent us. They said they were representing us, but they actually represented themselves much more than they represented the majority of the people in the community, because look at how small our community is. It's the size of a very small town in America, just for an example. And we can't even control how our people survive in this country. We are not doing enough to make sure that our people are the first at the very top of the pyramid in this country.
Right. So how do we do that?
Always be there.
Yeah. How do we do that?
The reason we're not there is because we circumvent laws. We amend the laws. We try them out. I've said this for years, and everybody called me hateful and scaremongering and this and that. They took that immigration transition law. Look at it. Look at how many times it was changed. It's on the very front page. Mr. McField can attest to that. He's an attorney. I'm sure he's seen it. How many times they amended that law when it didn't work for a certain criteria. They came back and amended it again, and they amended it again, and they got it to work to the perfection that they wanted it to work for them, and it went against us. There's absolutely, look at the Labor Act. There's absolutely nothing in the Labor Act to protect business owners except for, I think it's Section 57 about misconduct. That's the only section in there that actually protects a business owner. Nobody hears the business owner side of the situation. The minute someone walks into the Department of Labor and Pensions and files a complaint against you, you get a phone call. And I don't take the phone calls. I say, put it in writing. I want everything accounted for. Don't call me and harass me on the phone telling me blah, blah, blah came and complained about me. Put it in writing what they said, what the complaint is, and then I'll address it with you. That is never the case. You're written this nasty letter about you this and you that to an employee, but what was happening to you as the employer by that employee? Nothing has ever been said about that. You have never been asked by any labor officer to explain your situation. And these are the issues in the laws or the acts now in our country that get to me because we are not addressing anything that's also to protect the other side within that entirety of that law that you've created. We have lopsided laws in this country, and the major lopsided law in this country, which our people is not standing up for, and they won't take the initiative to read and understand it, is the immigration transition law. If you would take the time to sit and read, and if you don't understand it, make notes and ask someone that's smarter than you to explain that to you, what that is. Hey, write to the deputy governor. Mr. Manderson will be happy to explain any section of the immigration transition law that you have a query about. His name, it's france.manderson@gov.ky. You need to take the initiative as people of this country. Our natives sit and they do not take the initiative. They complain, they sit under the grape tree, they drink the beer, they play the dominoes, eat the fish and the turtle stew and everything else, and they talk about it. But when it's time to stand up and take the initiative against something that you feel genuinely in your heart is against your culture, your recognition as a native in this country, and making you a first citizen as well, is going out the window every week. It's going out the window every time caucus has a meeting. Something is being changed to take your rights away from you, and you're not taking the initiative to stand up. All you're doing is complaining on Marl Road, complaining on the talk shows, complaining out in public. But what are you doing other than that? And that's the problem I have with my people. We are not standing up for ourselves. And Kerry, no longer standing up for any of you. So you all have a good day.
Well, with that,
yeah, I think she's made some good, valid points that we're not standing up for anything, and that is because one of the things that is because is that we don't know how to stand and why to stand up. And like I said back when we opened the show this morning, you can't expect people who failing the elementary school 75% to be able to stand up, to be able to understand anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a problem that we have. So when we have a society where 75% of the people who are the future are semi-illiterate, I mean, cannot even pass the first exams to move ahead. That's a big problem that we have, and we're not doing anything about it. We think that spending a lot of money is the way to solve those problems. We have to find a way to motivate our people. We have to mix. We have to be symbols. I see when the Emancipation Day was reenacted, I watched it very carefully, and I was seeing how the narrative of this person and that person, what they did, but I don't see us imitating them and excelling them and going on to say that, well, we're not going to allow this to happen again. Like some people in the world, they say never again. That this going to happen to their people. We don't do that. We just look at it as some sort of a social adventure, and then we just move on.
Mm-hmm. All right, after the break, sir, we'll take some more calls. Certainly appreciate your insight. Stay tuned.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and it's an honor to sit in for Mr. O.C. and being in the great company of Dr. Steve. You inspire, you motivate, you inform, but I think more than ever you remind us of an ethic, an ethos, and an example. And as we talk to that, let's take these other calls and see where they stand.
Yes.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, well, not OC. No.
Hey, listen. Thank you. I mean, I feel handsome now.
Yes.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
Well, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I greetings to your listeners and, of course, Dr. Steve. First of all, it's good to see that Radio Cayman is good. What do you call perpetual succession? When one guest is gone, one presenter is gone for a while, another one comes in, and Dr. Steve, of course, has continued his commitment to be part of the show.
Yes.
Now, you see, every time this topic comes up, this is really a Caymanian topic, right? It's not a foreigner topic. And yet, it does have a certain foreign element. When I came to Cayman, I didn't know that Cayman would become my true second home. Mm-hmm. 2-year contract, you come in and you're trying to meet your immediate goals. My kids, my wife were all there, and my wife was working for the Department of Children's Family Services. And but as time went on, I found myself being accepted in the society, developed friends, and so forth. But one thing that I found in the end, I found that I was not being hosted by Caymanians. I was being hosted by other people, which was very, very disappointing. But still I said, okay, somewhere around the 8th or 9th year of being in Cayman, I said, look, I'm a world-trained legislative counsel, internationally qualified, and I've done all kinds of things. I saw that there was a deficiency in the government in terms of the officers who worked on legislation. Not the drafters like ourselves, but the lay people there who worked with us to produce legislation. It was lacking. That's not something anybody can do. You have to be trained how it's supposed to be done. I always say when I call on radio on this topic, there are something like 30 steps that are taken from the time you conceive of an idea to the time when it comes into force. In Cayman, there are about 30 steps. Now, within those 30 steps, about 3 or 4 of them take place in the Legislative Assembly. Do you see how much takes place outside? About 25, 26 steps take place outside. So anyway, the purpose of saying this is that I decided that my contribution was to write a little book, which I eventually wrote 135 pages on the legislative process in the Cayman Islands to empower Caymanians and other people working in government how to work on legislation, how to control the content, how to deal with issues relating to human rights and so on. I wrote another book also on judicial review and so on, but let me just talk about this particular one. And when I tried, and then I developed a course to go with it. And then I tried to teach it in government. The people in government, some people who are not Caymanian, principally who are not Caymanian, but with 1 or 2 sellout Caymanians, they said, no, we shouldn't allow him to teach this. Why? Because people will become too smart. Okay, so when they refused that in government, I tried to teach it privately. An indigenous Caymanian from a very well-known family said, look, why is this going to waste? I want my people to learn about this and so on, and you can be expected to deliver this because you are internationally qualified and all this and that. I tried to do that, and the government couldn't give me permission to teach that to Caymanians privately. They even spent, I got so fed up, I took a judicial review, I've mentioned this before. The government spent $80,000 United States dollars to hire a QC and the senior counsel to come to oppose me so that I do not help Caymanians in the way I wanted to do that. And the reason for that, they're telling you this whole long story, is because those of us also who came to Cayman to try and work with Caymanians, we have also been marginalized in the same way that you as Caymanians have been marginalized. And who is going to do anything about that? There's nobody who is going to do anything about that at the moment, because even now you look at, they're saying, oh, immigration. What we want to do about immigration, we have to ensure that marriages of inconvenience, are dealt with. Oh, but that doesn't fundamentally change anything. It's good for you to do it. But how about something which was going to fundamentally change something, like a rollover in government? 20 years ago, Mr. McCarthy issued a circular to say it was going to be introduced in government, and it never was. 20 years on today, they say they want to introduce it in government, but they are still studying to see how it will impact government. You mean they didn't do that for 20 years? That's the problem. That's the problem in Cayman. Jobs for Caymanians. When I used to go on crosstalk, Ilio Solomon, the Honorable Ilio Solomon, was one person who was very strong on jobs for Cayman. And he's not xenophobic. He's got a circle of people who, he deals with everybody. But he said, no, on the jobs issue, let's have jobs for Caymanians. Develop a short list, a small list, then try to grow that list, but ensure that we do not go crazy with it. We keep watching the economy and so on. And nobody was listening. And now today, there is a resolution which I believe Mr. Bush and Mr. Saunders are going to introduce, which is a good bit of legislation to ensure that certain areas are reserved for Caymanians. Very good. But why wasn't this done 20 years ago? Okay, do you see? It's like we want to solve problems after they have become almost impossible to solve. And then are we really giving support for these problems to be solved? Let me close on the issue of education. Dr. Steve also mentioned about education. There's a young lady who really impressed me a lot. I think her name was Latoya Francis. She used to work for the Monetary Authority. She's in the private sector now. Did a research which showed that 75% of the kindergarten kids, like the kindergarten places, of the kids who go to kindergarten, the ones that are successful are only about 25%, and those have got a majority foreign population. The failing ones, which are 75% of them, the majority of the people in those are the Caymanian kids, and you are going to wonder why some of the Caymanian kids wind up in crime and so on. So to me, there is something that has to be done to ensure that people such as myself who come in to be part of the community, we can find a place. Sorry. I can't get off the phone without mentioning one thing which I had I had an experience with you, Dr. Steve. We were on crosstalk way back together, and when we left, you asked me, you said, I won't review too much of what we discussed, but just the essence of the story. You said, well, what are you doing now? I said, well, I'm trying to find my way in private practice and ABC. And you said, well, come over to my office and see maybe I can help you, because you knew that I was the person who had the interest of Caymanians in heart. And we went to your office, and you told me how you could help me. I'll just leave it there and so on. Mm-hmm. And so I see that you are a person who says, if you are a foreigner, you come into this country to be part of us, and I can see that you really have our interest. I can help you as well. But you are the only one who did that to me. The other people in government were fighting me.
And maybe after the break, so that's what is the challenge. Let's work together as opposed to against each other.
Yes. Always
appreciate when Mr. Billy shares and reminds us that, integration, acclimation, unification, that's the key, right? All right, to our callers, join us right after.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
Day 2 of the Max 60 Caribbean Cricket League continues today at the Jimmy Powell Oval in West Bay. Gates opened at 9 a.m. this morning for a 9:30 a.m. match start. The games are being shown on Flow Sports. It's $5 for general seating, $10 for the bleachers, or $100 for the VIP area where there are drinks and food served all day. Good morning, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has said now is probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to secure a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. Mr. Blinken made his comments during a meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog today during his 9th trip to the region since the war began in October. And one man has died and 6 other people are missing after a luxury yacht sank off the coast of Sicily in the early hours of this morning. The 183-feet vessel was carrying 22 people, 10 crew and 12 passengers, including British, American and Canadian nationals. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And as we have the excellent company of Dr. Steve McField, got a couple of calls, Miss Susan. She says, yay. Thank you so much for listening and for joining us. We're going to the WhatsApp call. All right. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Sterling.
Okay, how are you today?
I'm doing good, We're really, really good.
All right.
And morning to Dr. Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Feelgood. You, that's great.
yeah. Boy, from earlier when I listening to you talking, oh my goodness, I come in like it giving flashbacks. A good thing I never went Vietnam, right? But I tell you what, I'm not that old yet, but I also not that young, and I don't believe that the people on this island ready to see any changes, right? And this is the reason why I think we should stay the same way. But we forgetting who we are, yo. That how I feel personally. Really, like we have people that are like crabs in the bucket mentality kind of thing. So I was listening to what you were saying earlier, and I say we would be accepting anything that is against us because we were afraid that we were going to be hated. That's how I feel. We're afraid to be hated, so we don't want to be like, oh no, I don't like that culture. But when I see Caymanians try to adapt that culture and say, why we don't just say we can make this some sort of thing that we do on a regular basis, but some people will be like, who you think you is? You could come in there. That's how Caymanians are to Caymanians. But they don't do that to the foreigners. When you notice that when a foreigner does it, we all be like, oh, that's cool. You know, you see them cooking certain food and we can be like, oh, you know, I not gonna try it. But they'll try it and then maybe they'll like it. But you see, we all think that whenever a Caymanian decides to do something, we all gotta like it. No, I mean, what in the world? When it gets my brain baffled when I think about these things. And I hear people saying you gotta put it in writing in order for you not to forget or whatever. Sometimes I wish I had a journal of all the thoughts that I had, because I can tell you what I'd make a book.
But this is
no joke, because when this crab in the bucket mentality thing is pissing me off. It's literally pissing me off, and I don't know who feel the same way. But you see, when they start to implement these things, the inclusive language and all this stuff that they're gonna end up putting on us, that we can't say certain words no more. And then you know one thing that I be thinking of. They say, I hear all the time, it takes a village to raise a child. And then I just recently talked to a few people. I say, yo, suppose the village is retarded. You know, think about that for 2 seconds. I mean, the love of money is the root of all evil, and we wondering if we go independent, for example, are we going to lose our value of our money? What the heck? To me, that is like ludicrous when you hear things like that. You worry about money?
So, I guess the call is sharing, you know.
Yes.
While the grass is growing, the horse is starving, so to speak. Hey, thank you very much for that. Dr. Steve will take another call. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
It's me again, Carrie. I had to call back to add one more thing.
Of course.
After I heard what Dr. Steve said with respect to 75% of our people not being smart enough. Well, a lot of that smartness has also been, not being smart, has been given status. I stopped doing statuses for people when they can't produce a certificate that they graduated high school. If you didn't graduate high school, you should not be given any kind of status or any kind of citizenship in this country, because what we're doing is we're bringing in a lot of people who are not smart and we're giving them citizenship. So we're dumbing down the country even more. We've already dumbed down a lot of our children in the schools. Now we're importing dumb people as well, and we're giving them citizenship, and they're now getting into the voting of this country and also making a further mess of it because they don't know who to vote for. They can't read, they can't write, they're just going by what people tell them, and because they're Caymanian now and they can vote. And that is the other issue that I have been speaking of for years, that we should stop it. It should be a requirement. If you do not have a high school diploma, you cannot get status and you cannot get permanent residency. I don't care what human right that infringes on, but you can't tell me that that has not been a major player in this country with our people as well, because we dumbed our people down so that we could bring in more dumb people and give them status and hang the proverbial noose of a work permit around their necks, and they'd do what we want them to do. I'm just saying, this is the reality of it all, and our people need to now accept that is the reality of it. If you don't want that reality, get the copy of the immigration transition law, get together, group up with people that are smarter than you, and start making amendments to it. And that's what your agenda should be for the 2025 election, not talking about it under the grape tree. Find the solutions, find the sections you want fixed that got the loopholes in it. And I counted 140-something parts of the immigration transition law that has holes in it that you can walk through on a red carpet any day of the week. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Steve.
I think she's correct. She's right about that. But as she said, there are certain people who see who they let me say they helped drafted the law, and they don't see anything's wrong with the law because the law benefits them. I was sort of I wouldn't say happy. I wouldn't say happy, but I was sort of I felt honored to have chaired the board, the Permanent Residence Status Board, because I had a good idea of what was happening in the country, and I read the Constitution very thoroughly, and I understood the power that the government had in implementing the Constitution as far as immigration was concerned, Section 16. And so I thought that I had a chance to be able to set an example of what the immigration in the country would look like and could look like if the Constitution and if the Bill of Rights was implemented, and I felt happy about doing that. And lo and behold, when I started to implement that, I started to make enemies in the private sector mostly. That's where it came from first, in the private sector. And then they started to want to meet me, to speak to me about the results that the Caymanians were benefiting, the results that the board was producing, and I refused to do that. I refused to be manipulated by them, to be puppeted by them, and then I started to be the gatekeeper of the immigration as far as the status and permanent residence was. I had nothing to do with the work permits. That was a different set of people from us, and we started to keep the gate from those undesirable people getting permanent residence and becoming Caymanians and so forth. And what we started to block the marks of convenience from obtaining Caymanian permanent residence and getting status by implementing the law, because the law also said there were certain things that we could, and that's what we did. And then they started to make complaints to their member of parliament and so forth. And I was moved away from there. Not because I was doing a bad job, but because I was doing a good job, and it all came to a head when I met with certain people, and they wanted to know what I was doing, and I explained to them what I was doing, but I could not make it public yet because it had not been accepted by government, by caucus. But I said that whatever you will see, whatever the results are going to be from what recommendations that I will make and my board will make and my committee will make, it will be in the best interest of the Caymanian people. And I know with that phrase that the doors were going to be closed. I knew that from time I saw their body language, and I saw what they were thinking, and I says, well, it's only a matter of time. And sure enough, when the new minister came in, they disbanded the work that we were doing. holding the gate. The gate became wide open, and it's still wide open now, and it will be so until when the country finds itself in an upheaval, and when the country finds itself in a turmoil, because it only suits the system, only suits the people who benefit from it. The people benefit. Cheap labor makes people who have investment have more money, and that is their bottom line. They don't care into the culture, the history, the narrative of the country. They don't care about how much the green line is in the bank. They don't care anything about Caymanians. They do not care anything about climate change. They don't care anything about the environment. They don't care anything about that. They don't care anything about how it hurts your children. They don't care about Caymanian people, children having only 70% passing their exams. They could not care less about. They only care about the development and how much money they can make on their dollar. It's the whole thing.
Money. With that, I think let's get a break, and then we come back, more calls.
You deserve a unication this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
With Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Dr. Steve McField for sitting with us. We've got a couple of calls on it. I want to read this WhatsApp message if I can to our listeners. It says, I'm listening to Dr. Steve on the issues that he faced during his time on immigration reform. I am saddened but not surprised, but what I am really upset about is how our government let us down by not accepting his recommendations. I hope that the voting public listens and remembers this and makes a radical change at the polls in 2025. Oh, that's from one of our listeners, Dr. Steve.
Thank you.
People seem to know, as you shared, that there's an issue, seem to know something needs to be done. Maybe we're not sure how to do it, or we're not in an agreement on what to do, but it starts somewhere. As I ask you more respectfully, let's take a couple of other callers.
Yes.
All right. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling.
It's about time. I'm going to report you to OC when he come back.
Well, you can do that if you want. But if you want, we can cut you off now. Come on, Lord Graham. Share with us.
All right. Good morning to you, and good morning to the Honorable Doctor there.
Good morning, Lord Graham. How is your fiefdom going?
Well, very well. I'm about to go for a walk at the Safe Haven area, but I had to get on, to say my piece before you guys go off. And listening to you, Doc, you're correct. The elected members seems not to be concerned about anything that would be in the best interest of us, the Cayman people. Because the only reason that you were appointed to bring back findings for the immigration reform was because us, the people out on the street, start being concerned and voicing our opinion. They're now talking about term limit for government employees. That only came about because people, again, on the street are getting concerned. But they are elected and handsomely paid to run the country. Don't they see the same things that the people on the street see, knowing that they all grew up here and they're supposed to be grassroots Caymanians? In my opinion, and even when they appoint somebody like you who knows, who are very strong-minded and strong-headed and cannot be controlled by anybody, comes back with the findings and what we have to do to fix the problem, then what they do, they get rid of you. I had a conversation with one of the ministers concerning your appointment. Oh, well, his time was up. My word was to him, well, wasn't your time up and they re-elect you too? So how couldn't he not be reappointed? Because the reason why, because of your findings and your suggestions, in their opinion, it was too radical. Same reason I am not being put on any board, because in cabinet, I understand when my name come up, they say, oh, no, not him. He's too radical. We'll not be able to control him. You know? So that is the problem. And what I see, Doc, is that they are doing nothing but provoking some sort of uprising amongst the people here in Cayman. And they're youngsters, like you can hear some youngsters calling in that is very upset, that are now taking part in the dialogue that's going on these talk shows, that are prepared to do things that will not be put in writing. They're out for action. So that I see that coming, Doc.
Well, it's their own fault. And it's like an old Chinese leader Mao Zedong says that only fools pick up a stone to drop on their own feet. And the problem that we have is that I was not part of I had a good steak with Mr. So and so, and he bought me champagne and brought me this wine, and he gave me this bottle of cognac for Christmas. I'm not into that sort of stuff. And the problem is that I don't need any reassurance from them, because I have my good education. I can reassure myself, and I can go to the sources to find reassurance. One of the problems that I found when I get there, I was saying, how the hell can so many people owe the government so much money for permanent residence and haven't paid for such a long time? And I start to reverse that. Start to take the permanent residence away. Because if you haven't paid, then you shouldn't be a resident. And I step on the toes of some really, really heavy people in the country. And I say, you are not better than anybody else. You're the same as every other person who has not complied with the regulations. And I am going to enforce the regulations, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. And my goodness, you would not believe the backlash that I got, and so forth. And even today, people are calling me and says to me, well, what happened? And I said, you should know what happened. I was working in your best interest, and that is the reason why I'm not in such positions. And my colleague here, Mr. Sterling Dwayne, he was reminding me of another lawyer who I think the Compass made the Compass had a piece, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, about what happened 50 years ago when we were both young, Mr. Rich and myself, when we were the first Caymanians to have law degrees, and how we were going to London, and when I was deputy clerk of the courts, but I was clerk of the courts also, and so forth. He also was chairman of the Permanent Residence and Status Board, and you can say you remind me of what he found, or what he said.
Well, thanks for that, because as we look at history and as you shared, our unwillingness to acknowledge what happened, history is replete with many examples. I think Mr. Rich reminded us statistically of what was transpiring in the country from the demographics, and his comments. What was it? Be mindful we don't make the same mistake with Filipinos we made with Jamaicans, and people saw it as disparaging. And he is probably one of the most respectful people, and at the time probably one of the most highly respected person in the country, making a comment based on statistical fact, only to be castigated. But being the polite gentleman that he is, trying to say, hey, listen, that wasn't the thing. How many years later, we're seeing what is happening, and as the last caller just shared, why don't we look at it? Why is it a defeatist mentality? Why we are not respecting and revering our people? Ms. Susan saying, thank you for reminding me on. Let's take this, one of the many calls who are joining us. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling us. Yes, hello. All right. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, Dwayne?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm right here listening.
Who's that, Dr. Frank?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad that the people of this country lack integrity to a degree that is shocking. As a sociologist and somebody that has spent time back here for 47 years with a PhD, it amazes me how we undermine each other's interests. It is just no. I have read of it in no situation like I've experienced it here. When Dr. McField, Steve McField, was put in that position, they knew who he was. They knew what he stood for. They know who his heroes were in this country and what his heroes stood for. Why did they put him there if they expected him to turn out to be like them? He could have all the money in this island, could be one of the richest men in this island, and he refused to let people come in his country and be his boss. People with less qualifications than they have. The system that we have here is one that introduces a seduction, that you must be seduced to be a prostitute to their way of life. Otherwise, you're going to get no fame. You're going to be able to claim absolutely nothing. I feel for him because I had many conversations with Steve when he became chairman, when he started doing all this work to give them research information. Immigration is a natural phenomenon in this world. We are all migrants. Human beings are migratory. We have what we call the push factors and the pull push factors and the pull factors. We were pushed out of this country in 1964 of our parents because we were looking for something different, and we were pulled into America. But it is natural, but there have to be rules and regulations and controls. You have to understand what it is that are your priorities. Your priorities just not be that you want to compete with the other Caymanians, so you're willing to sell the other Caymanians. Because it brings us back to that whole horrific thing called transatlantic slavery, where Africans were selling their brothers and their sisters. And that's how most of us are ended up out of Africa. And Caymanians have that same mentality. They have that same stigma. They are jealous of each other to an extent that is sickening. And this is one of the things that I write about in Time Longer Than Rope. But I wrote time longer than wrote. What I was saying is that day would come when they wish they had listened to somebody. But somebody can come in here and tell an uneducated Caymanian that Steve McField is a damn fool, so he shouldn't be able to tell them how this thing should run. A man that has spent all his life as a student, learning and learning and learning and learning. And I hope people remember this. I hope people remember what they did to him, who went there to serve the people, not as an elected person, but as a person with the resource skills that are necessary to deal with the most important question in this country, immigration. Because we need it. But if we do not control it in the way it needs to be controlled, it will eliminate us. We can see that happening. Come on. This is not a little thing that this government did and turned their back on him. This is not a little thing. This is a big thing. But when we put a certain class of people in power with certain complexions, they go there with the basic concern they have is to get something that they can be better than the other Caymanians, so they're willing to sell. I mean, it's just like how the bloody Africans behave with the transatlantic slave trade. Divide and rule is something that can always be applied in the Cayman Islands. It is really terrible to hear this today, but I'm happy that this has come out, that he's saying something about it, because his intentions were genuine and his approach was very much based upon knowledge. He made his decisions, he made his suggestions based upon research and experiences. They should have appreciated that. What he did ever say, he went there and said, let me get this and let me get that and let me get the other thing. He always have been a principled person, even if I disagree with some of his particular positions. But I will argue with him from an academic point of view and not from a personal point of view. He is an incredible resource person when it comes to law. And I think that they showed that they don't really want people to help them to do anything else but what they want to do, and what they want to do is about their special interests, so that they too can have something that allows them to look down on the other one. And I'm going to leave you all right there, but Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Frank. Thank you,
sir.
Dr. Frank. Like you said, and I'm glad you said that, we don't always agree on everything. We argue sometimes strongly and sometimes lightly on things, but we have our own positions. But we respect each other because we are all educated and we know the limit that we have, and that we understand how the world works. Because not only do we have the academic knowledge, but we also have the practical knowledge from living with different people in different countries.
Mm-hmm. And then, respectfully to our callers, please join us right after the break.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts.
At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much. And Mr. Hart is hopefully, enjoying a well-deserved break away from, here hosting, as he has been so diligent. In the studio, Dr. Steve McField. Sir, thanks always for sharing with us, reminding us of that strong work ethic that you epitomized. We do have a couple of other calls. Let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, gentlemen. Minister Brian here.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Minister. How are you, sir?
I am blessed. Thank you so much. Special good morning to Dr. McField. Very important topic that we're talking about here this morning, and I'm so glad it continues to be at the forefront of the conversation, because I am certain that it will be and should be and must be a part of the conversation nationally, particularly with the upcoming election coming up. I've been listening very diligently to the callers, and because the people and their understanding as to what is transpiring or not transpiring in respect to the area of reform for immigration. It's not surprising, but also worthy of further dialogue so we can understand the problem. Because, Doc, I must say sometimes it hurts so much when I hear comments like, none of the government members care about this area of concern, immigration. But I take it in stride. I understand that people don't always see the inside of the belly of the beast. But Dr. McField, I know that you know what I'm speaking about in respect to it. Because I've been a strong advocate for immigration reform for a very, very long time, and it's not going to change now because I think it's the foundation of most of our problems from a labor and a control and rights to our country's perspective. Dr. McField, I also agree that a lot of the things you said this morning about what transpired with your selection and role to help the country make these changes, and the fact that you're not there anymore. But I think it's also important that we have more conversations about it leading up to the election, because the question we ask ourselves today is, what was the mandate of the government? And which government? Because it was an independent group of many, many minds coming together. And I like you, Dr. McField, felt very happy when we first formed and was happy about the direction we were going, and suddenly it changed over time. But I think the reason why we are not understanding why the change didn't happen, because we're not prepared to talk about it. For example, and this is no spite on anybody, but we need to talk about what went wrong. Why were you not able to do what you were intending to do on behalf of the people, which I know genuinely came from your heart? There's nobody who will fight for a Cayman stronger than yourself and a good 100 people that I know out there, and you're definitely at the top of the list in that respect. But what stopped? Who stopped you? Why did they stop you? And what parts of stopping you did they do? Because we have to break these things down into parts, because what voters need to now look for, rather than a blanket approach to say everybody in government don't want to fix immigration, they all don't care, which is not true. And Dr. McField, I know that you know that in respect to this topic, but to break it down in parts, because then the voter can go, okay, well, what is your position, Mr. Candidate, on immigration? and what parts of immigration, because I've spoken about this for a long time. Immigration is a two-part system. It has to do with your labor force, and imbalance of a labor force can cause many, many harms. And it also has to do with the rights to be a Caymanian, which can change your culture and your heritage if you have an imbalance of different cultures affecting the majority of the vote. So it's two different parts or two different effects which are both majorly affecting the country. So breaking that down into parts, what you were trying to do and why, then the voters can understand, okay, whoever it is, brand new people, people who are in current government, people who were in government before, when they come to you and say, vote for me, look in their manifesto or ask them directly, what is your position? Normally in any democracy, you normally would understand how a voter or a candidate, a party would, a candidate or a party would go based on their ideology. So, for example, if you're a Labour, you would know that their principles around their decisions would be focused on Labour matters, or Conservatives, or Republicans. In Cayman, we have not been mature enough, or we haven't developed politically mature enough to be able to identify those principles in a candidate or in a party right off the top. So you have to dig a little deeper into the specifics of any one topic in order to know what you're voting for and who you're voting for. I'm comfortable in my heart that my people of Georgetown Central know how I feel about immigration reform. Matter of fact, I've went on a very large limb on my own to talk about it, and also accused of undermining my own administration in respect to this topic.
Yes, I know that.
And because I feel so strongly about it. But I don't want to, it may seem like I'm complaining about what happened, but I'm trying to think about how do we make sure this doesn't happen? Because some people would like to just simply say, yeah, get rid of all of them because they're no good, and think that that's going to solve the problem. Because you may just seem they have the same issue. We have to understand why the changes you have suggested, how they affect the lives of the people, what sections they are, and what the outcomes will be by way of benefit to the people. Because I know that you're limited by way of protection of information to go down too much into the specifics. And I know you're a man of honor. You're not going to go around calling people's names
Definitely not.
who tried to stop you. But if we do not talk about this, and even those who have tried to stop you can't get up in front of everybody in this country and say, no, I didn't agree with Dr. McField about that. But why? Why didn't you agree with it? So we can flush out the nonsense and filter the truth, whereby is that person biased? Are they making money off of it? Or do they care about our culture? Are they generational Caymanian? Are they brand new Caymanians? All of these types of questions allows us to get to the bottom of the problem. We're not refining the conversation enough. Now, I'll say this. I haven't done enough of that myself. And I'll say why. Because if I was to open my mouth too much, it may undermine my own administration. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So I keep it simple. I tried my best to stay in the boundaries of my collective responsibility by bringing to the forefront immigration reform must happen. If it doesn't happen, you think it hard now? If we don't fix that problem, we're going to be in a whole lot more worse problems, regardless if Kenneth Bryan is there or not. So, Dr. McField, I honor you. I thank you. But tell the people exactly what you saw, because only when you give them the evidence and the truth can they see through the nonsense. Because too many times they sit behind closed doors and they hide their calls for whatever reason. I can't say to you, I don't have no evidence of anybody being corrupt. I have no evidence of anybody being malicious for their own benefit. But I tell you what, I know the decisions, like similarly what you have suggested, isn't being embraced. And it's not only on a political level. And Dr. McField, you need to say it to the people, because they may not believe me because I'm a politician today. But you saying it, it's not all the politicians. Because Dr. McField, I know you would admit today there's many politicians in there today who is fighting with you.
Yes, I know that.
Failed, right?
Yes, I know that.
And the question, it can't only be a policy by some elected members without the people understanding. So through that dialogue and discussion on the radio, identify specifics with the legislation from a labor and rights perspective, then can the people identify the candidate that they want, what they say they're going to do, or what they're not going to do, and vote right or vote wrong. And I'm only saying, let's filter this conversation more, because only then that 2025 and whichever candidate they choose, that you can get the results that you want from an immigration perspective. Because everybody's saying one thing, immigration reform is serious and it has to be done. but what parts, what specifics, what are those things going to do to benefit your children and yourself today? So I'll leave it there, Dr. McField. Thank you so much
For now.
For now.
Yes.
But
thank you, Mr. Minister.
We got 8 months. We got 8 months, and there's a lot to be digested.
Yes.
Because it's a very technical topic.
I understand you. Thank you thank you very much, sir.
Hey, thanks very much, sir. Thanks. This is maybe a discussion of the Mr. talk about political maturity. We'll final break, and then hopefully some more calls. So stay tuned.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price, and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for this. Thanks very much to Dr. Steve McField. If I might, sir, to our callers, I like to have people say as much as they want, for as long as they want, but it's not always possible. We have a number of callers, 12 minutes left, 5 in the queue. Could I ask each caller as succinctly and respectfully, hey, welcome, please share with us as best as you can, as quickly as you can.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning,
thanks
sir.
Very much.
Good morning.
And I want to apologize to you and each caller after that. To get to each one of you, I'm going to ask you to be as brief, not like what we like to do, but today we have to. All right.
So I'm honored to be in the same boat as Lord Graham.
Yes.
That means I'm somewhere in his kingdom.
Yes.
I just need to find his castle now.
Yes.
But,
when he grows his hair, he can let it down from the belfry.
With that, but I mean being banned from being invited to sit and participate in any of the boards, because I was on the permanent residency board in 2006 and was definitely considered a quote-unquote dangerous individual, because I was not bought and paid for by anybody, nor was I for sale or rent, and certainly kicked back quite a bit and had some serious heated debates with very, very powerful individuals asking for rules to be bent. And I say that to say that is nothing new, but until and when that is stopped, we will continue with what we have here. And I've always maintained, people keep crying about this human rights thing, but it seems to be a one-directional one. So I sound like a broken record player like this. And if the government wants to understand where the seeding of the angst and all the other negative parts of it of us locals are coming from is when you drive across the civic center and see illegal migrants being housed and fed when our own are on the streets, whether it's their fault or not. But in a lot of cases, they're not, just because of, again, the mental illness or what have you. Look at the debacle with that mental illness facility. And nothing seemingly, a lot of wheels might be turning in the background, but like Ezra said, a lot of wings flapping, but no birds flying.
Yes.
So to that point, I want to say that I've maintained, in terms of human rights, you want to fix this immigration problem, anybody who wants PR has to renounce their citizenship of their country, period. Because what happens is, I've seen where people, other nationalities have come here, driven drunk, killed an individual, got a light sentence, or even didn't get, fled the island before being sentenced and paid nothing for it. Yeah. So then there's people without means who apply, get their PR, despite me being very vocal about going, listen, we just have to be real. If we're going to import poverty, we're magnifying our problems and taking care of our own and now our new members of the community, because they are going to be an additional drain. I wonder if anybody's done a research onto how many PR recipients now apply to NAU and are on the accounts of NAU. And so, and people say, well, you can't do that because of human rights. You can't make them renounce their. You're not making them. It's a choice. If you really, really want to be here, then you need to decide: am I going to give up? Am I going to give up my other citizenship because it's way better here, or is that I'm just trying to get the best of both worlds? Because we, the locals, are the ones that are suffering from it. I've seen where Caymanians had business partners with foreign nationals who then got their PR, all of a sudden lose the business because they no longer need the Caymanian for it, and then that individual turns up and becomes business partners for his fellow nationals, bringing them down because he knew others who had the resources come down and set up other businesses. And that person has their business now, which used to require having a Caymanian, and multiple others because they're now Caymanian. And you know what? They use the system. They created it, and we allowed it. So I do not curse them for that. It's what we're doing. And so until we understand that we keep breaking the bread and giving it to everybody else, and then happy with the crumbs that are on the table, it's almost like reverse. The feast is not on the table. The feast is around the table because everybody's coming up to them and we're giving it to them. I mean, it's just absurd. And so people call me xenophobic and call me everything else. I would marry to a foreign national who's come here and assimilated in society and who's done amazing work here and has been here some 30 years, and we always pay it back. And I'm unfortunate to say that while I'm not so married, we're actually I'm still good friends and business partners. But the point being is that there's people can come here and do really good, and to them I welcome. It was a foreign national who gave me an opportunity to go to university, but what's happening now is it's so easy to come down here and stay in your own bubble or in your own circles of influence that you don't need to assimilate into our community to succeed here, and that is a problem. And I will remain a lone wolf if that needs to be, because I do not kiss up to anybody, but I can also say I've had multiple conversations with ministers who ask me what I've done, because when my name brings up to sit on board, I put on a blacklist along there with Lord Durham, and I happily accept that if they're not prepared to accept, honesty and integrity, because I'm not for sale. With that, I bid you a good day.
All right. Thanks very much. And let's take the next call.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Oh, is it my turn at last?
It is, yes. Yes.
Yes. Good morning, gentlemen. Patience is a virtue.
Good morning.
I've been trying to get through for an hour. I mean, I was holding on for most of that. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Alice May.
Yes, good morning, good morning. It's always great to hear people talking about the good of the Cayman Islands, what's good for it. I know because of time I'll have to be extremely brief, but maybe I can sort of just use the well-known expression, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Now, our old-timers or veteran coming up for many generations, They asked, what can we do to make Cayman a better place? They didn't have the university education and all that sort of stuff, but they had an abundance of common sense, and they could discern good from bad. And they built on that and made the island such a wonderful, attractive place that the entire world is trying to get here. However, when we have persons come along and tell us, well, you don't have university education, you all don't know, we know better, and our people have been dumbed down so much, told so frequently, that they were brainwashed into believing that nothing that traditional Caymanians suggested or thought they knew really had any validity. Therefore, we will accept whatever others tell us. In our naivety and gullibility, we have dug the hole for ourselves. That being said, it does not mean that we must give up. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, Cayman is enduring a tsunami, a tsunami that has been made even worse since we have a UPM government with all of the many projects and plans that are detrimental to this little country. I don't understand why they would be wanting to have a referendum on the cruise port before the end of the year, when there is the election coming up in April, I believe.
Yes,
We've
April.
done it before. You can have a referendum on something and the election at the same time. I'm really amazed, or maybe more perfect word I would say, about the waste of money, how we can just throw money away as if it's growing on trees. And if it were growing on trees, our trees are fast disappearing. We have to stop and think. Unfortunately, it seems as if the majority of those in whom we have entrusted our leadership, our present and our future, are in it for what can they get out of it themselves. Now, I'm not meaning that to act as if we have Caymanians are perfect. No, but it's the wrong motives behind what is going on that is concerning to me. We had the new cargo port, but you can't make the present one better. That's rubbish. And wanting to talk about having a population, say, up to 250,000
Yes.
people. Can you imagine? We are strangling and falling over each other with 80-something thousand, but we want up to 250,000. We want the east-west arterial. I agree that we need a road, but have they chosen the right one, or is it because it depends on whose land will be used to develop this road? You know, looking at it, I remember fighting for West Bay Road. We wanted a second road. We expected a second road, but in expecting that second road, we did not expect to have our old road taken away and our prime beach land with its accesses taken away from us. When that new road, which I drive every day too, is there to facilitate the development of the owner of the land into which it ran, etc. And what else have we got? The National Conservation Act. It is appalling that they will want to destroy that, gut that, and I freely send my comments to the 19 MPs that we have, and some will come back and say thanks, make a positive comment or whatever, and we'll have the highest one coming back and saying utter nonsense. You know, that just lets me know exactly what the people are being considered stupid. And what is it? The immigration law. I mean, I could go on now for as long as I was on hold on these issues, but I'll stop now. We have to stop. What is the criteria to discern when we go to the polls? Who is there for the good of the country or for the good of themselves? Now, we know mouth can say anything once it learns to talk, and we are taken in always by the sweet, smooth talking candidates running for election. Everybody has good qualities. We know that, but we have to be more discerning. I'm sorry that I have to cut short this, but I appreciate the time must be adhered to. Thanks, God bless. And it's only for love of country why I speak out like this, not because I want to be on a soapbox. I don't look for photo opportunities or to get my ego massaged. It's because I genuinely care for the 3 Cayman Islands.
Yes, Mom.
Bless you all.
Yes, Mom.
Thank Miss Alice May, and call Sir earlier next time.
and thanks, to the callers. Thanks to you. And for the recognize, and this is where we're saying we want people to be able to speak. As she shared, she want to adhere to the time, and this is what we're trying to do. To all the callers who we try to accommodate here and elsewhere, thank you, not just for trying, but also for your understanding. Dr. Steve, a man like you inspires and encourages you, but you also provide us an example of the courage. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you also for asking me again to come on your show, and thank you much, and thank all the callers who called today, and they were very inspiring to me, and I learned a lot from them too.
Well, I agree with you on that, and we work together.
Yes.
We'll find that we'll achieve much that is positive.
Yes.
Thank you all for this opportunity to sit here and keep Mr. OC's seat somewhat warm.
Yes.
Hopefully I do it justice. God's willing, Wednesday I get a chance to come back again. You never know. But join me in a few hours for Talk Today. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. See you in a bit.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the